So thank you everyone for joining the afternoon of the third day of the system conference. So today Tara will be talking about social media, and Tara is from Ulster County, where she's the operations coordinator and does a lot of social media activity. So she's definitely an expert who's going to share a lot of insights with us today. She will address questions at the end, so feel free to pop them in the chat box throughout as they come to mind, and then we'll have time at the end to address them. And if you have any technical issues, or if you're having trouble with the audio, or if we're not clear for some reason, just let me know, and we'll work it out. So thanks again for joining, and I'll turn it over to Tara.
Thank you, Katie. So hi everyone, I'm Tara. I work in Ulster County. I am down here in the Hudson Valley. I'm operations coordinator, so I manage our communications and fund development as well. So I do have a background in digital media. My undergrad was in digital media management. So it's a business approach to managing digital media. So let's get this to next slide. The first thing I want to point out is that while I consider myself a millennial / Gen Z, our generation is just as overwhelmed with all the digital media platforms and apps as someone who did not grow up in our generation. So hopefully after this presentation, you will feel like you understand which platforms are necessary to know and how to use them. These are the 7 that I recommend you absolutely know. I don't think you need to necessarily use them, but you should know what they are and how they are used. Personally, I think everyone uses different apps, whether it's photo editing or travel or shopping, but these are the 7 social media platforms. So I do want to start out with Twitter because I think a lot of us use Twitter or have a Twitter but don't necessarily use it. For instance, in our association, we use Facebook and it's linked to our Twitter. So anytime we post to Facebook, a link is then sent to Twitter. While I think it's good that we are posting to our Twitter account, I don't necessarily know what value it's bringing to us because the person has to click on the link and it brings them back to Facebook anyway. So I put your voice because I really think Twitter should be used by your executive director or maybe your board president, someone who really understands your organization and your work and what's going on in the environment of your organization. LinkedIn, we actually just opened a page not too long ago, but it's not really completely set up. But I do think it's great, especially for HR, to have a presence there for people looking for work, networking, and just in your personal life too, to have that professional platform set up. And Pinterest, there's a lot of people that aren't really sure what Pinterest is really, what the purpose is. So Pinterest is kind of like scrapbooking. You can create boards of inspiration. So for me, I create boards, design inspiration, brochures and stuff like that, gardening collections and stuff. So I don't think as an organization we really need it unless you find an audience for it, but it's definitely nice to know about that you can create your own inspiration boards. Snapchat is really for Gen Z. It's the younger generation. It's groups of friends sending snaps back and forth. They say that it disappears, but nothing ever actually disappears. People can screenshot things, so be wary of that. But I do think it might be a good platform for maybe 4-H because you're dealing with the younger generation. And Snapchat has something really cool that a lot of other apps don't have, and that's the geo filters. And a geo filter is you can swipe it over your photo and it'll come up with the location that you're at. So whether you're at the county fair or you're at your extension office, it's a really great way to promote your work. But like I said, it's really for the younger generations. And then YouTube is something that we are really working to start populating this year. I was awarded 2 innovation awards to do video work, and I'm really excited about that. And I'll let everyone know about the training that's going to be happening later this year. And out of that will come a best practices guide that I can share with everyone too. But YouTube is great because it's a human interaction. You get to watch people, hear them. It's a great way to brand yourself and use video. So, I do want to note that Instagram seems to be dominating social lately, especially with the millennial generation. And there's a little bit of drama that's happened recently. Pinterest is going public, I think, this week or next week. And right as Pinterest said that they were going to go public, Instagram unveiled private collections, which is practically the same thing that Pinterest does. And Instagram did the same thing to Snapchat with Instagram stories when Snapchat went to go public. And then recently, Instagram also unveiled Instagram TV, which is basically what YouTube does. So it's really starting to do all these different things in one app, and Facebook owns Instagram. So I just think that's interesting. And I think that to build your brand, Instagram is a really great platform. Here's a little bit of my system workflow, and really the key is to keep it all in sync. Use the same content with your posts as with your press releases and on your website. You really want to just generate a lot of the same content to have it really sink into your audience. So I think a lot of people get overwhelmed with the fact that, you know, oh, we have to post this many posts a day, and how do we keep generating content? It's taking up a lot of time. If you're not already posting your events on social media, start there, because you'll realize that actually just by posting about your events will take up a lot of content. So I kind of broke out my routine here in 4 steps. When we have an event, first it goes on the website and I do a press release schedule. And then I put it on Facebook and I do scheduled posts. I'll kind of dive into that a little bit more, the difference between an event and a post and why they're really important. And then we do Instagram posts. And if we're lucky, we can do a YouTube video, which we're not quite there yet. But what's really nice about YouTube is that you can upload your content to YouTube and then share it on Facebook, and it populates in Facebook. It's not just a link, it actually shows the video on YouTube in Facebook. So I'm going to dive into Instagram and Facebook in this presentation, and some of the slides are a step-by-step, which hopefully you can use as a resource moving forward to set up your accounts. Instagram is really almost like an art gallery, a gallery of photos. It's where someone can visit your page and get the full experience of your brand. So really use it as a platform to build your brand and tell your audience who you are through photos. I'd rather you post fewer high quality photos and videos than have a lot of poor quality photos and videos. I think, you know, people will look you up on Instagram, and if they see poor quality photos, they're kind of like, what do? You know, you're not producing good quality. So make sure you have quality content on your platforms. Make sure you're using hashtags and tags. I'll go into that a little bit more later. And Instagram is a really great way to build your community and engage with your audience through Instagram stories. I put this slide in here because I think it's a really useful tool. I no longer have an Apple iPhone, but many a times I would get that little bubble that pops up and says you're out of storage, or your photo gallery is taking up too much space, because I take a ton of photos. So I downloaded Google Photos. If you have a Gmail account, it's all connected with Google Drive and everything like that. It's just an app that you download on your phone, and they have an assistant on there that will back up your photos from your camera gallery to Google Photos. I pay $2 a month and I get a terabyte or something like that, which is a ton of storage. So I highly recommend that. And I think the best feature with this is that you can hit the button that says free up space, and it'll wipe your phone gallery so you don't actually have to go in and select each photo to delete, which is a really annoying feature on the iPhone, is that you have to select individually each photo to delete it. And Google Photos takes care of all that for you. So if you don't have this, I highly recommend it to back up your photos. Another thing I want to talk about is that social media is really difficult to do on your own, especially if you aren't the social media manager and that's your only job. And I know all of us do wear a lot of hats. So one thing that I found to be really successful in generating content and keeping in a good flow of things is finding out who in your office enjoys taking photos, takes quality photos, and is comfortable using social media. So I identified those people in our office and I added them to our account. They consist of board members and people across different program areas. So I'm just going to dive in a little bit in the step-by-step process of how you add people. You just go into your settings there, add an account, and in the last slide you'll see that you enter your organization's account information. So you have to have your own personal Instagram account to add the organization's account. So that's really step one, is making your own account. And then the other little tidbit is that when you do go to add the organization's account to your account, the owner of the organization account will get a text message with a code. So, ooh, my lights went off. Hold on. So you want to make sure that you have contact with the person that that set up the account so they can give you the code to get access. It's a two-step security clearance. Through this slide in here, because we actually just started using it and it's really helpful once you get your team of social media content creators. It's a free app called Leader and it hosts multiple users. So you all log in with your organization's account and you can upload your content to this app and then schedule your posts through the app. You can also preview your Instagram through the app. So if you want to get really technical, I guess, and you want to know that your page looks a certain way, it's nice to be able to view it. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. So I think the best part of it is that it hosts multiple users. I just wanted to show this here. If you're not familiar, if you've never had multiple accounts before, to toggle between your accounts, you click your icon on the bottom, and then you'll notice there's a little drop-down arrow by your handle, and you can see I have 4 accounts on my page. The next step I'm going to talk about is linking Facebook. So I actually learned a little something when I was creating this presentation because there is an option to link your Twitter. And I thought, oh, why haven't I done that before? I wonder if the post goes through to Twitter. Because on Instagram, when you post, the entire post goes to Facebook, including the photo, the text, the hashtags. The only thing that doesn't really go through are tagging people. You kind of have to go back to Facebook and make sure that people are tagged because people have different handles and everything. But so I linked Twitter, and when I posted to Instagram, it sent a link to Twitter, and then it sent the post to Facebook. And because I posted to Facebook, it also sent a link to Twitter. So what I ended up with was 2 links on Twitter, and it didn't work. So the point being, you don't do that. So here is a step-by-step process of linking your Facebook account to Instagram. Once again, you go into settings, but instead of going to add account, you actually go to account and linked accounts. And here's where you add Facebook. I guess if your Facebook isn't linked to Twitter, you could link your Instagram to Twitter. But like I said, it's just gonna post a link. So I wanna dive in a little bit to adding a post and how I add posts, what I think the best method for adding posts is. So you click the little add button and your picture pops up. I think people go a little filter crazy, and if you have multiple users using your Instagram and everyone's using a different filter, it doesn't look very fluid. It doesn't look like a gallery or curated gallery. So generally, all I do is up the brightness a little bit, and I use the ambient sundial on the top, and that's it. And that way, the picture is still pretty much the same. It's not overly color corrected, and anytime someone posts, it's pretty natural looking. And then you don't have to worry about why doesn't my Instagram account look nice and aesthetically pleasing. And then when you get to the last page to actually post, you can see where it says also post to, you have the option to select Facebook. So you just hit that little button there and it'll turn blue. And then when you actually post, it goes to Facebook. So I'm going to break down the actual posting part of it. Hopefully you'll get some interesting tidbits out of this. We actually held a social media roundtable here last year, and we all learned a lot. The conversation continued well over the time we had allotted for the meeting, and people were really engaged, so that was great. Hopefully we'll do another one. But these are some of the information that came out of that meeting. If you're posting an event, you can post information about the event. You can post information about research as it relates to the photo. Sometimes it doesn't even have to relate to the photo. You can just post a really pretty photo and then post different information underneath it. I try and always tag as many people as I possibly can. If you visit a page that's really popular, that has a lot of followers, and you click on their photos, you will notice how many tags pop up. People who are really successful are tagging a lot of people, especially the fashionista people and stuff like that. They're tagging all the brands of what they wear. And people, it's a way to build your community. So in most of my tags, I use CCE Cornell because I want them to be aware of the work that we're doing in our community. If it's 4-H related, I tag New York State 4-H. And I tag a lot of local magazines and media because also I want our brand to get out there, our content to get out there. You can use the tags in your caption, but putting them in a tag embeds them, it hides them in the post. So it really depends on if you want your audience to know that you're giving someone a shout out, or if you're just trying to tag them in, maybe you'll get a repost out of it, anything like that. Location, we decided that it's actually better to go broad, but not too broad. So when you think about how many people are actually typing in Cornell Cooperative Extension of Ulster County when they're looking for a location, it's probably not that many people. So we decided that we would tag Kingston, New York. It's a city. People are coming up from New York City, kind of interested in what's going on. So usually in our posts that are happening at our office or in our community, I'm tagging Kingston. I wouldn't tag New York State unless you're doing like an I Love New York campaign, because so many people are using that tag that your post is just going to get buried in there. So go broader than the specific place, unless you're like at a restaurant or something that you're trying to promote, but don't go too broad where your post is going to get buried. And then for the hashtags, your organization should have a unique tag. So ours is CCEUC. If we're doing a campaign, we're going to have a specific campaign tag. So come up with what that is and make sure that every post is using that same tag. You can put in a clever one-liner. You can actually Google like clever Instagram phrases and stuff, and a lot of pages will come up if you need some inspiration. But I put in location, and I kind of go crazy on location as a hashtag because that's my way of utilizing that feature. I think you get like 29 hashtags as your max. So try and use as many hashtags as you can. I do Kingston, Hudson Valley, upstate New York State, New York, and then I do like kind of go crazy with it. But use as many as you can because it's free advertising, why not? And then any other relatable words. So if I knew the breed of that horse, maybe I put that in, or I put like equestrian or something like that. This is just showing you what a tag looks like in a post. So if you click on a photo, these will pop up, they'll be generated. This is actually our top performing post. It's from Ag in the Classroom during Ag Literacy Week. And we had Congressman Antonio Delgado come in and read to the kids, which was really great. And so you'll see here, I tagged him in the post, I tagged New York Ag in the Classroom, I tagged Eat Smart New York because they actually were in the background. They helped the activity with the activity, and New York State 4-H and CCE Cornell, because I want them to know what we're doing. And then in this second picture here where the arrow is pointing, that is the icon that you click to view the photos that you've been tagged in on your page. I think Instagram stories is highly unutilized by our organization and probably across the board. This is a really great way to engage with your audience and give them insight into what your day-to-day life is like working for CCE. So last night we had a kitchen class, and I was posting while I was there to give people a flavor of what it's like being at one of our kitchen classes and show them how much fun you can have. You can see who's viewing your stories, which is really nice, and you'll notice that you have like a few of the same people who are really following your stuff. So it's not necessarily analytics, but it helps you gauge who your audience is. There's a lot of fun features on Instagram story too. So you can take a photo, you can take a video, you can go live, you can just post text, you can do a boomerang. There's a lot of cool things that you can do with it, including adding location, hashtags, and then all those fun stickers, GIFs, any of that kind of stuff. So people can, again, you're building that community, you're tagging people, bringing them into your work. And then when you share it, you can send it to your story, and you can also send it directly to other accounts so that they're seeing what you're doing. Another thing I want to point out, actually, in the first picture where the arrow is, to the left of that downward arrow saves your content. So a lot of times I hit that just to save it in case I want it later. Highlights. This is something that we are not doing well at, but I think it's actually a really cool feature that we need to start utilizing. So I put up Millhouse Brewing Company because their account has not been active for that long, and they're killing it. They've got almost 6,000 followers. They've got a great account, and they have their highlights. They've got these cute little icons that tell their audience what's on tap, what the fan favorites are, what their brunch menu is. So I think it would be really cool, maybe across the board, if we could get the same icons and do, you know, different program areas. So 4-H or, you know, whatever your office does, we would have a little highlight icon so people could see what those programs do. So that's something I think strategically across the board, CCE, we should all kind of get on board with. The great thing about highlights is that you can use content from your stories to build up your highlights. So in your settings, you can make it so that all your stories are saved or archived. And that makes it really easy to go back in and say, oh, these are from when we were at our cooking class. I can add these to our cooking highlight, you know, updating your content and stuff like that. So I think that's just a really cool feature that we're going to have to work towards getting better at. This is the archive. That little time clock thing up at the top is where you access. You can archive your stories and you can archive your posts. So sometimes a post that went up, I'm like, why did we post that? And I'll just archive it, and then it stays on your account. And if you decide you want to post it back up again, you can take it out of archive and it goes right back to where it was in the order that it was. So that's kind of a cool feature. Now I'm going to talk about Facebook. This is the only other platform I'm really going to talk about today. And I just really need to emphasize that if you're not putting your events on Facebook, that's the first thing you should be doing when you get off this, is put all your events on Facebook, because since we started putting our events on Facebook, this isn't an accurate number, but I would say about 80% of people who come to our classes say they saw our event on Facebook. So it's been huge for us to bring people in to our events and classes. It also drives traffic to your website because they click on it and it brings you back. So that's another great feature. People use Facebook to get news. I find that strange, but it happens, so I put it on there. And then the other cool thing about Facebook is you can create photo albums. So again, I just want to reiterate, Facebook events, and they're different from posts. A lot of people are like, oh, well, I did a post on that, so that's good. And I'm like, no, if it's not an event, it's not on your calendar. So a post is different from putting up an event. You want to post your event, it goes on your event calendar, and then you can do a post about the event, which kind of sounds confusing, but I'll show you a slide on it. So the first thing you want to do is add people to your Facebook page. Again, it's much easier to do it with a team than to do it alone. And a good rule of thumb, be friends first. Facebook doesn't let you add people to your page if you're not friends first, so make sure you're friends first, and then assign them a role. There's different levels: admin, editor, analyzer, all different kinds of things. So that's the first step. And this is what the events calendar looks like. So if someone visits your page, they click on what events you have, and the pictures that we have here are the same that's on the website. So it's very in sync. I'm going to break this down a little bit because these are really awesome tools that if you're not utilizing, you should start utilizing. Be brief in your description. If something in your event changes, like a presenter or what they're taking home for their class or something, you only want to have to change it in one place. So I usually put the intro paragraph from our website into Facebook, and then I put, for full details and registration, visit our website. And then I put the website event page in the ticket URL. So I just copy and paste the event page from our website into the ticket URL. They click that and it brings them to the website. They can get all the details, contact information, and register for the event. I put game changer by co-host because I really think it is a game changer. It saves so much time. If you're collaborating with someone on an event, so say we're doing something with the YMCA and they've already created a Facebook event for it, they can type in co-host Cornell Cooperative Extension of Ulster County. I'll get a notification to hit accept, and now it's populated on both of our calendars, which is just a really great feature. Right now we're trying to condense our Facebook pages into one. But for now, if I have an event that's a 4-H event, I'm posting it on the main CCE page, and then I'll make our 4-H page a co-host. And that way it's on both of our pages, but I only have to post it once. So it's a big time saver. And like I said, we're trying to consolidate our pages into groups. There's just so much going on that I think it's really great to really get it down to one page so you can see groups by page. We have the Relatives as Parents group, which is a private closed group, so you have to be a part of the group to view the content. Obviously, we moderate the group. It's a fairly new group. It only has 2 members right now, but and then we have the Master Gardeners, which is public because we want people to see what the Master Gardeners are talking about. And I'm almost done here. So I put this resource up because it's a free resource. You can download it as an app on your phone, or you can use it on the desktop. And it's really great to create short videos, to put graphics over your pictures, make invitations. I think you can get an upgraded package if you have the Adobe Suite through Cornell, but it is a free resource that I highly recommend you play around with for creating posts. And I think that opens us up for questions.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We have several questions in the chat box. Let me scroll up. All right. So I think this is back in reference to one of the first slides you had about Snapchat filters. Do you know how much they cost?
I don't. No, sorry.
All right. Linda said, you pay for Google Photos. Mine automatically goes to my Google account. I've never been charged.
Yes, there are two different, you can do the free account, but you're not getting the highest resolution. So it compresses, I think it compresses your photos a little bit for the free account. But if you pay the $2, then you get to keep the high resolution photos.
Carla asked, the person who set up their Instagram account left the office. Can they get it changed?
I had to go through that with Twitter, so I'm not sure if it's the same, but I was able to switch it. I know I had to write into Twitter. I'm just not sure if it's the same for Instagram. And also, since Instagram is owned by Facebook, I wonder if there's any connection there. I'm not too sure. I've never had to do it, but hopefully there is a way to do that.
Oh, I'm not sure, Jen, I'm not sure about the context of your question, but I'll read it anyway, and Tara, maybe you'll know. It says, but you need to have access to both accounts, right? Passwords.
Yes, and I think that's referring to linking the platforms. So yes, you would need access to both of those.
And then along the same lines, can you post on Facebook and have it linked to Instagram?
No, I don't think, actually, on the homepage of Facebook, let me just see here while we're, there is something about Instagram that I'd only noticed recently. So I'm not too sure about doing it reverse. I've never done it reverse, but I'm not sure that I would do it reverse, because I think that with all the tags and stuff that you put on Instagram, that's an interesting question. I've never done it that way, and I don't know if you can.
Do you have advice about keeping work social media separate from personal social media? Do you have separate personal and work accounts on Instagram?
Yes, I do. And trying to think. I mean, for me, it's pretty natural. I just flow between the two. I guess it's what context is it, the time that you're spending, you know, if it's after hours and, you know, you're posting to the work one. I mean, that happens, but it doesn't take me, usually I have a good idea of what I'm going to post in my head, but I don't know if I have a specific thing for that. It's pretty natural for me to just flow between the two. And I don't know, I guess I'm just pretty connected to it almost all day, every day, which doesn't sound that good, but I'm pretty in tune with it all the time. So that helps me keep on top of it. But also I have another admin here who helps me with Facebook. So when we get messages to our Facebook, one thing we did set up was an automatic reply. So when someone sends us a message with a question, it automatically replies, hi, we might not be able to respond right away. So if you have a question, give us a call during our working hours, blah, 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 something like that. So that helps alleviate the pressure of responding immediately.
Oh, that's great. I didn't know about that feature. Cool. All right. I think this is in reference to the Facebook event slide. What is a ticket URL?
Ticket URL it brings you to whatever URL that you put in there. So I always put the event page. And like I said in my description, I'll say for full details and to register, click the ticket URL. And then I put the event page URL in there. So it drives them back to our website where they can get the full details. They can click the registration link. I don't know if, I don't think everyone uses the same website platform as us. We use the Tompkins County platform. So if you're doing an event on, let's say, Eventbrite, and you just have your Eventbrite page, you would put that link in there. So you're bringing people straight from your Facebook event to the page with all the information and registration link.
Great, thank you. With the post on ag in the classroom, did you feel you needed to have photo releases on the children or participants?
When I went into the classroom, I asked the teacher if all the children had photo releases, because at a lot of the schools, they do that anyway. So I went up to the teacher and asked her if they had photo releases. I have been in classrooms where certain kids did not have photo releases, so we just have them stay out of the photo. But yeah, usually the teacher knows who does and who doesn't.
Great. And then a comment from Jess, Snapchat filter depends on the geographic area and how long you use it for. Let's see. I came into the discussion just as you were discussing Twitter. Can it be automatically linked to Instagram and Facebook?
Yes, it can, but it only posts a link that brings you back to the original post, which, like I said, I don't know what value that gives your audience, because then they should just go to Facebook anyway. So you can, but.
Yeah, I've heard the same advice just because the Twitter and Facebook aren't the same company, so they don't necessarily play well together.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I've heard that advice to sort of keep them separate from the media office on campus too. Mm-hmm. Can you repeat what you said about posting an event to your website and then to another page like 4-H to make Facebook posts easier?
Oh yeah, sure. So that's the co-hosting feature on Facebook events. So when you go to create an event on Facebook, there's a little area that says co-host. So if you want to make another organization or another program who has a separate Facebook page a co-host, then you just type in their page and it'll pop up. And when you hit, when you move forward, they'll get a notification that says, you've been requested to be a co-host for this event. Do you accept? And you hit yes, and then it automatically populates on your event calendar, on their event calendar. It's just a really great cross-posting tool so that not everyone's creating the same event multiple times, possibly with different photos. You know, it's just an easy way to spread the same event through different programs or different organizations.
Great. And then a question from Devin. Our 4-H leader asked me to post a lot of 4-H promotion on our association page. Should I be creating new promotions, or should I just share what she has been posting on the 4-H page?
I think my opinion on that is that all of your posts should be coming from your CCE page and then shared out to your program pages, because right now we are trying to consolidate our pages. I think you'll find more value in having one page with groups versus having a bunch of different scattered pages. So for instance, our organizations page has almost 3,000 followers, but our 4-H page has, I don't know, like 400 followers. So you want to be targeting the larger audience. So I would start actually doing it reverse, posting to your organization's page and then sharing it to 4-H, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, you could just share the same post, but like I said, it's better to do it the reverse, I think.
And from Emma, the Later app is free, correct? I see differences in pricing between individual and businesses, and I'm curious which one to sign up for.
There is a free one, and I think they just limit the amount of users that you can add to the account. I don't know what it is, but right now I have 2 or 3 people linked on it, so, and it's free. So I guess it depends if you wanted to upgrade or not.
And do you have any comments about using Hootsuite?
No, I haven't used Hootsuite, and that's why I like Later, because it's easy and it's free, and I think Hootsuite is really robust. Later is just this quick and easy app. It almost resembles Instagram in a way, so it's not like you have to teach yourself a whole new system. I think if you were using the paid version of Hootsuite and you were really committing to getting a content calendar and all of that and wanted a platform to manage all that, I would probably use it, but you know, we're not a digital agency, and we don't have a lot of people focusing on our social media right now, so I think it's simpler to just stay with Later.
Great. Our office does a lot of scheduled Facebook posts to try to stretch out the time between posts. So just a comment there. So back to the Facebook events, can the co-host, take something down as well?
Yes, I think they can. Yeah.
And is it true that groups can get better traffic in news feeds than pages on Facebook?
Huh. Well, I think you have to search groups. Like you have to go into the groups page and see what groups are happening. Like I'm in the Hudson Valley photography group or something like that, but I found it through hitting the groups tab and searching. So I guess it really depends on what you're looking for.
Okay. And to set up the auto reply, is that in the settings section?
Yeah. I can't remember exactly where it is, but it's definitely in settings. Probably settings, messaging, and then somewhere in there.
Great. And those are all the questions right now. Keep them coming. We have a few more minutes. I had a question for you. Early on, you said that you upload videos to YouTube and then post them on Facebook. Is there any benefit to also uploading a video directly to Facebook? Or do you recommend posting them on YouTube first and just sharing them?
Yeah, I think there's a benefit to uploading them to Facebook too. And that would be that it's stored on your page. So if someone isn't using YouTube as a platform to watch videos, then they can just view them on your Facebook page. I guess the feature that I just really like is that when you do post the link from YouTube onto Facebook, you can watch the video there. You know, it's not just a link back to YouTube. They work really well together. So I definitely think you should be posting your video to Facebook too. But it is a nice feature, even if, like, for instance, I'm sharing a video from somewhere else and I just want it on our feed. It's nice to be able to share the link and then the videos there in my feed.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. A couple more questions have come in. What about utilizing Facebook Live for newer video users?
Yeah, that's part of the workshop we're going to be doing this year is training staff on how to use Facebook Live. And I think it's going to be really big for us when our staff is out in the field or we're at a conference. I think it'll be interesting to see you can do a watch party or, when you actually go live, how many people tune in. It's probably not going to be that much, but those videos will be generating content on your page that'll stay there. So over time, you'll probably get more views. We haven't utilized it yet, and we're going to be focusing on using cell phones to shoot Facebook Live. So, if you don't have a smartphone or if you're not using your cell phone to shoot video, it's going to be a little difficult that way. But I think for the most part, most of our educators are able to do that. So we'll be exploring that this year. And we'll have a guide for you at the end of the year to share.
Okay, so we have 3 more questions. I think we have time. The first one is, we share flyers on our page, but then they get pushed down in the feed. Suggestions to keep them visible?
Yes, keep me visible. There is a feature that you can, it's called pin to the top. So when we're doing our campaigns, like our year-end campaign, we'll come up with content that we put on our page and then we pin it to the top. It's right in the post, actually, where the dots are to hit edit. There's like a thumbtack, and you just hit that, and then it'll pin to the top.
Great. And was there a date mentioned for the workshop that you're hosting?
Not yet. We were projecting June, but I'm not sure if it's going to happen in June. So I hope the sooner, the sooner the better, but I'll definitely let everyone know when that date is finalized.
Great. And I think I can share the list of people that attended today with you so that can get it out to all of us. Final question. This isn't a question, actually. It's a statement. Our Eat Smart New York has done a lot of Facebook Live with cooking recipes. So
oh, great.
To know.
Yeah, we did our first time-lapse cooking video. I'm still putting it together, but that was a lot of fun and an interesting process, learning process. So we're looking to generate more, I mean, that's live, but still generating more content like that. So very cool.
Excellent. Well, this has been really great, Tara. Thank you so much for sharing your process with us and your insights. And thank you, everyone, for joining.